What if I told you that I used to hate Kansas City? And the reason was... Welcome back, I'm Kyle, your local realtor, and in this video, I'll be discussing the 5 reasons why Kansas City isn't for everyone and why some of you might hate it. But before we jump into it, the goal of this channel is not to persuade you to uproot your life and move to Kansas City. In fact, I couldn't live with myself if I convinced someone to relocate to a place they'd eventually come to loathe, because that was me prior to moving back to Kansas City from Denver. I told myself I would never move back here. But fast forward to present day, and my perspective has undergone some significant transformations. Today, I can say that I love living in Kansas City, and I'm here to share my experiences with you so you can make an informed decision if you're considering making the move yourself. And if you are considering a move to Kansas City, then be sure to download our free relocation guide down in the description below. So let's talk about why Kansas City might not be for everyone. One big reason why I felt so isolated at times growing up here was the sprawling layout. Kansas City is notorious for its extensive urban sprawl, and it can often feel like a city that's stretched out too far. This sprawling design can be quite isolating, especially for those who grow up in the suburbs. Don't get me wrong, the suburbs here are beautiful with their picturesque homes and friendly neighborhoods. However, they also tend to be distant from the heart of the city. For a kid growing up in the suburbs, life can have its challenges, especially when you don't have access to a car. The lack of public transportation options can leave people feeling trapped and unable to easily reach various parts of the city. Whether it's heading to school, meeting up with friends, or exploring the vibrant cultural entertainment scenes that Kansas City offers, transportation becomes a considerable obstacle. I frequently find myself contemplating the different path my life might have taken had I chosen to break free from my suburban comfort zone and venture downtown when I turned 18. Instead, I opted to remain in the familiar surroundings of my hometown, a choice that I believe is quite common among many people. However, it was the desire for a new adventure that eventually led me to relocate to Denver. It was a decision that brought both rewards and difficulties, but enriched my life with diverse experiences and opportunities I couldn't have encountered had I chosen to remain in the suburbs in which I grew up. And that was a big reason why I placed such a high priority on finding a neighborhood that was walkable and more connected to community and the city's main attractions when we made the decision to return to Kansas City. Now, I understand that urban living doesn't suit everyone, and it does come with a unique set of challenges. However, for me, living in the city has undeniably enhanced my overall quality of life. But which one do you prefer, the urban core or the burbs? Let me know in the comments below. Another reason that KC may not be for everyone is the weather. Kansas City's weather, especially in the summer and winter months, can be a bit of a love-hate relationship. When winter sets in, it's a break from the oppressive summer humidity, which is great, but it's followed by about 3 months of what feels like perpetual grayness and icy cold weather. The skies are overcast, the landscape loses its vibrancy, and the sun seems to go into hiding. You find yourself bundled up in layers, dreading those bone-chilling temperatures every time you step outside. It's a stark contrast to the hot and humid days of summer, and for someone like me, it can lead to seasonal depression. One of the aspects of living in Denver that I find myself missing most is the weather. Sure, Denver gets cold at times, but it's a different kind of cold. You don't experience those bone-chilling days too frequently, mainly because Denver boasts an impressive 300 days of sunshine on average throughout the year. Winter in KC, on the other hand, can really test your endurance if you're not accustomed to it. If you're the type who thrives in a climate with more consistent and moderate temperatures or more sunshine, then Kansas City's winter can be quite a shock to the system. So it's something to consider, especially if you're not a fan of long cold winters and hot humid summers. Another thing you have to realize about Kansas City is that while there are outdoor recreational activities to enjoy, the options may be somewhat limited, which could be a deal breaker for some. And that shouldn't come as much of a surprise considering Kansas City is landlocked right in the heart of the country. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of opportunities to get outside and appreciate nature. I, for one, have spent countless hours outdoors, whether it's relaxing by the lake or taking a bike ride around town or strolls on the trolley trail. These activities certainly have their charm, but there's a subtle difference when compared to other experiences you'd find in regions with a more diverse natural landscape. Kansas City's landlocked status means we don't have the towering majesty of the Rocky Mountains within a stone's throw, or a beach just anywhere close for that matter. For outdoor enthusiasts who enjoy hiking or sunbathing on sandy beaches, this might leave something to be desired. Back when I lived in Denver, I frequently found myself telling folks back home that having the mountains in your backyard comes at a cost. And it's a truth that's hard to deny. There's something truly priceless about having the ability to take a spontaneous afternoon hike through the mountains. However, as I continued my life in Denver, I slowly realized that a higher quality of life can't be reduced to just the opportunity to enjoy the outdoors for a few hours. While the mountains and the proximity to natural beauty is certainly inspiring, quality of life encompasses a broader spectrum of factors, including cost of living and community, neither of which we had a strong sense of in Colorado. With that being said, the variety of outdoor activities is somewhat lacking here in Kansas City. While you can certainly find outdoor escapes, it may not offer the same profound connection to nature that you'd encounter in more geographically diverse areas. So for those who crave the exhilaration of mountain hikes or the escape of a coastal retreat, Kansas City's outdoor offerings might feel a bit limited. Another significant factor that might deter from embracing life in Kansas City is crime. According to statistics, Kansas City ranks among the most violent cities in the United States. Now, let's not sugarcoat this. As a resident of the city myself, I've experienced firsthand the sound of gunshots and the constant wailing of sirens that seem to echo through my neighborhood almost hourly. The reality is that crime is a prevalent concern here in Kansas City. However, it's crucial to understand that the majority of the criminal activity that occurs here isn't random in nature. Crime in KC isn't typically the result of spontaneous acts of violence targeting just anyone. Instead, it often stems from deeper, more complex issues such as poverty, inequality, and divesting in certain neighborhoods. While it doesn't excuse or justify the presence of crime, it does offer a more nuanced understanding of the situation. Many residents in Kansas City lead safe, fulfilling lives within the city, even in areas that occasionally experience higher crime rates. Like any metropolitan area, safety can vary significantly from one neighborhood to another. Many residents actively engage with their communities, support local initiatives, and work together to create safer, more secure environments for everyone. KC 360 is an excellent example of this. It's a program designed by a local nonprofit, KC Common Good, that is taking a community-based approach to reducing violent crime by investing in neighborhoods. Just this year, their efforts successfully reduced crime by more than 20% in some of Kansas City's most underserved communities. I've included a link to their website in the description below if you'd like to contribute to their cause. So while Kansas City does grapple with crime, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation, and your experience will largely depend on the area you choose to reside in. Now, as a real estate agent, I'm not allowed to steer you towards one neighborhood or another, so be sure to conduct thorough research before making any decisions. One valuable resource I often suggest is neighborhoodscout.com, as it provides a comprehensive and detailed breakdown of crime statistics in every neighborhood in Kansas City. This last one may be an unpopular opinion amongst Kansas Cityans, and that is KC pride. One of the quirks that I relished during my time in Denver was flaunting my Kansas City gear, a pastime that simply doesn't have quite the same impact here in KC. It could have been the result of wanting to stand out amidst Broncos fans in Denver, or perhaps it was the occasional dig at my Broncos loving friends. Regardless, I found myself sporting my Kansas City attire more frequently during my days in Denver than I do now that I've returned to Kansas City. What's fascinating is that there exists a unique phenomenon in Kansas City, a deep-seated sense of local pride that sets it apart from other major metro areas. This pride often extends to the attire locals choose to wear, and there's a strong sense of identity tied to the city's sports teams and landmarks. While donning Kansas City gear was a way for me to stand out in Denver, it's not as common a sight here because, well, almost everyone here appears to be a tourist in their own city. The deep-rooted pride that Kansas City residents feel for their city, while charming to some, might not sit well with those contemplating a move to the area. On the other hand, you might find yourself in a situation similar to mine during my time in Denver, reveling in the opportunity to stand out by proudly displaying your hometown's gear. In the end, it's a distinctive aspect that makes Kansas City truly unique, and whether it comes across as endearing or potentially annoying, it's a matter of personal perspective. In the end, determining whether a place is a right fit for you involves considering a multitude of factors. I've always held the belief that life is too short to confine yourself to a single location indefinitely, and my time in Denver reinforced that perspective. It's partly why my perception of Kansas City has shifted from disdain to appreciation, especially now that I have a family to consider. I've come to see it as a great place to call home and raise a family. I hope this video provided you with valuable insights into life here in Kansas City. If you're in the market to buy or sell a property anywhere in the metropolitan area, please do not hesitate to reach out at info@movingtokc.net, and my team and I would love to assist you. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, as we're putting out new content every single week about life here in KC. Until next time.